Ruenes on a Gastra. Brilliant. 3 Gastras in this as far as my reckoning goes. Victor Vedderford, you don't know much about him. We should be coming up to the start any second now. I think they're still going to go with the green flag. Yeah. We haven't heard there's a... There we go. We've got the green flag. It's up and running. Well, our flag isn't. It is now. We're about 5 seconds late on that. Apologies. But so we've got Victor Vedderford. He should be in this. There's going to be a lot of Gastra. It's going to be very hard to work it out. There you go. Go on. Give us a clue. Brilliant. That was nice. Nice burner from one of the Gastra riders. Anthony Ruenes. Nice culo from one of the other Gastra riders. What the hell? 3 Gastra riders, all exactly the same colour sails. Oh, someone just plug in the mast. And non-Gastra rider in this, which is obviously Tester, just plugged the mast in on that Kono. This is going to be very tricky. This guy looks pretty big. Could this be Victor Vedderford? He looks a big lad. I'm sorry about this, but I mean it's pretty hard. That's just a normal funnel there from Victor Vedderford. Because we're going to have to guess all the boys have exactly the same colour sails. Awesome planing forward from Testa there, the young Italian rider. Let's hope he can real step it up. There we go. Sheffers is on fire. So one of them was Sheffers. I'm guessing this is Sheffers. Let's have a look. If he spins around a lot, it's Sheffers. That looks like it could be Sheffers. Oh, hello. Could be that, though. Ponch. Well, yeah. So Sheffers and Runes looking very good. Okay, so there's a Kono, Tester with Kulo there. Going to say this heat, I'm sorry, will be quite hard to work out who's who. That could be Runes, it could be Sheffers, it could be Victor. You're never sure. He doesn't look too big though, so maybe that was Sheffers. Pretty embarrassing heat, I think, for me, this one. Obviously got Tester in it. Tester's going to be on the non-Gastra sail. Like I said, this is like one of the biggest guys on this heat, so this could be Victor Vedderford or Anthony Runes, you don't know, or maybe Victor. Okay, we've got 4 minutes 25 left in this heat. I think we're about 5 seconds out on the clock at the top of your screen, so not much in it. But these boys doing their best out there. We've had some pretty stonking heats so far. I think standout riders for me has been Yarden Mir from Israel. He looked really good in his heat, looked very powerful. Steven van Broekhoven, another standout. I think Van Ingden from Holland, I would say he was one of the standout heats. Oh, someone going down right near the boat. We're hearing Rafa saying Sheffers does switch on the way out always. So, okay, we'll have a look out for that. But then none of them are switch at the moment. This is Tester. Boom. Oh, regular Kono. Couldn't quite make it. Here we go. Just coming up towards the boat. Shaka. Anthony Ruenes, maybe. He likes the old Shaka. Can I just appeal to the Gastra makers out there? Why don't you make some different colour sails, boys? Or at least give your riders some different colour sails. Would make it a lot easier. Although I'm pretty sure no one thought we were going to be this far out here in silt. Okay, let's see if we can work out some streamers. Streamer high. Sheffers and Ruenes should have streamers on the top of the sail. This is Tester. Switch clue first. What's he got? Oh, I don't know, but he's crashed. Both of them crashed. Everyone's crashed. Everyone's in the water. There's only one man standing. Okay, we've got 2 minutes 50 left in this heat. Not quite making it. Maybe want to just Skopu. So like I said, as soon as we get a few well, any of the boys out there, if they get knocked out, if they fancy coming and joining me in the live stream, it's very much welcome. We can get a bit of banter. Obviously, with these guys being so far out, it's not the best viewing experience you're ever going to see. But we can see the action. We have seen some good heats, and it will only get better the further we get through this competition. And it shouldn't really be about that. It's about the anticipation of maybe Kiri Toda winning his first World Cup. Well, overall World Cup, we should say. Here we go, punch coming up. Whoa, lays it down pretty hard, makes it nicely. Sheffers maybe, or Runes, or Victor Vediford. Oh, not quite getting the pop, but still spinning round. That looked more like a Sheffers move to me. Just seemed to just spin it round pretty much on the axis. With not real much height, but still got it round. Tester up that top end. We're keeping an eye on him. He's gone switch stance. There he goes. Boom. Nice burner. So we've got about 1 minute 30 left of the trickiest heat of the day. Air flacker just near the boat. Maybe that Sheffers up this end, spinning around double flacker. Slippery little customer, Davy Sheffers. It's pretty close heat though. All the boys, well, I say it's pretty close. You can't tell it's doing what. It looked pretty close. Oh, nice little head throw, sort of Kono, regular Kono there from Tester. Obviously, Tester's against Anthony Roon and Davy Sheffers against Victor Vediford. Let's hope the judges can see who's who. I'm sure they can. They're a lot closer than me. So this is Tester on the right-hand side of your picture. We've got Anthony Roons, Davy Sheffers and Victor Vediford on the Gastra sails. Not long left in this heat. Tester just turning around. So obviously he needs a move on starboard tack by the looks of it. So he's chose just to spin around and go back out and see if he can get one move forward. Oh, who's that? Is that Victor Vediford? Right-hand side. This is Tester. He's got about 20 seconds. The clock is about 4 or 5 seconds out, so he knows he needs to do it earlier than that. Oh, one's third. Kamakuchi, Skopu, one of them. I think Kamakuchi, but he didn't go all the way round. Confused me. Oh, and he got one-footed, goes out. Okay, that's the end of the heat. We are finished. The no moves will count anymore. Who do you think got it? So we're saying, how did Fabian Weber do? Well, we've not heard over the radio at the moment, but I'll tell you what, I'll refresh the draw and see how he got on. But he got through one heat, but Van Broekhoven just punished him in the last heat, which is a shame. We're still waiting for the result between Max Rowe and Julian Mass. It was a close heat. Can we have some results, please? Oof, 2-1. Okay, so Van Broekhoven absolutely smashing it. Unfortunately, to Weber, he scored double the points. So he obviously had a solid heat. On the other side of the draw, Max Rowe versus Julian Mass, it was very, very close. 2-1 decision, and it was Max Rowe that got the nod. So he will go into the next round to go against Stephen Van Broekhoven. So Max Rowe having a pretty good year so far. I think he's sitting in the top 16 in the world, about 15th place if I remember rightly. So he's carrying that run on. The next heat, anybody's guess who did well. It looked a pretty full-on heat. Davy Sheffers looked like he was sailing good. Anthony Roons and Tester, going to be interesting. We'll have to wait for those results to get through. Next heat on the water, it's going to be Berholtz against Agajan and Kiri Toda going for his first world title against Danny Keita. That's how we stand at the moment. So Danny Keita is going to be on Avanti sails. Toad's going to be on Gastra. Agajan going to be on 0.7, and Berholtz, I think he's on sail lofts, German sail lofts, I think. We'll have to wait and see when he pulls up, but we should be starting soon. 40 seconds to go. 40 seconds to go before the start of the next heat. Just having a quick look for the sheets. Just see if we can get a bit of information about some of these guys out there. Okay, let's have a look who we've got. Adrian Beerholtz, Fanatic and Sailloft. Yeah, so he will be on Sailloft Greenboard. He is 23 years old, 80 kilos. Obviously from Germany. Germany 888. We are starting this heat very soon. Where are the guys? Adam Sims going to come and save the day by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Boom, we're up in the heat. Starts off quite a little move, I suppose, by Kiri Toda standard. Little switch E-slider from Keita, and Agajan goes down. We're going to give Mr. Sims a microphone. That might help things.
Pretty gusty out there.
Hang on. We whack his mic up. Okay, so we've got Adam Sims in the house.
Hello.
How was that out there? Tricky?
Yeah.
Looked very tricky.
It was pretty gusty. We had like a big hole in the middle of the competition area in the first couple of heats. Fabrizio was telling me about his as well.
It did get better, didn't it? Because
yeah,
I tell you what, that
yeah.
Van Ingden Choco France heat, that's when everything seemed to start happening.
Yeah, no, for sure it picked up more. But it's really interesting, like the chops coming kind of from the left, like you're going straight at it, like on some kind of underlying
Yeah, there's
swell.
like a swell, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like the wind blowing chop. It's similar conditions almost to Fuerteventura. So it's,
I sort of thought that when we had this morning. I thought it was going to be tricky. There's not a big wave on the beach here, but there's a little wave. And that's making a difference.
Yeah,
Nice
it's suiting the guys that are doing like port tag jumps.
Yeah.
You know, like the jumps.
Well, we've seen some back loops going down, which was surprised me.
There's some steep ramps, you know. There's like bits of chop on top of the ramp.
We almost seen a double from Tester earlier. I'm not sure. We got Max Rowe. Let's have a word with Max. He's just been out there. It looks blue, I reckon, at the moment.
Oh God, I'm so cold. I just had to sit on the beach, like with my head in my knees, just like having a quiet word with myself while my hands warmed up. Oh, it was so painful. That's one of the worst fire hands I've had in ages.
Good.
Really painful. I went through, but I heard my name announced. So I didn't
even. It was close, super close.
I bet it was.
2-1, right on the edge.
Yeah, I wasn't convinced I'd won it, but. Just enough, eh?
No, it was close. It was
I didn't even
close.
like bust out a smile. I was in so much pain when I found out. It was, I was just, I got to go back out there.
Well, you got Stephen Van Broek over next, and he doubled the points of his opponent.
Did he?
Yeah,
I was watching him a little bit. I saw him crash a pushy as well.
I mean, I tell you what, he's doing moves right outside the boat, and that has to help, especially if you land him clean. If you land him a bit wet, maybe not. But
it's with the gust, it's so hard to stay in the area. Like sometimes you think you're there. You get a gust, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're going past the boat. And I had to tack a few times when I thought I had more space.
Yeah, well, I think things have definitely stepped up. Adam's just saying about how hard it was earlier, and it does look, the moves are coming thick and fast. Clue first back loop, Kiri Toda.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Lands that pretty nice. He's looking good in this heat. Agajan, he's looked pretty solid. We've seen nice planing forward and stuff, and a few moves from him. Yeah. We've also got Beerholtz. He's obviously going against Agajan, and he's a good sailor.
It's going to be tight.
He's
the conditions out there are like seriously like though. Without it being this cold, it would be about seriously hard anyway. And then with the temperature as well, it is.
You feel your hands out there? I mean, is it cold when you're sailing?
Yeah, couldn't feel my hands. Like by the end of the heat, I think I maybe should have gone up, warm up, got the fire hands out the way once, and then it's never as bad the second time.
I agree.
I came back in after going out for a few minutes just to collect my gloves, and I was wearing them before the heat. I took them off and stuffed them inside my rash vest just during the heat.
Oh.
And it was
sensible Sims, they call him.
That's me. Yeah. It was pretty cold.
It didn't help though, did it? If you got cold hands, maybe you'd have kept hold of the boom because you couldn't let go of it. It might have been a good tactic. Okay, well this heat looks super close at the moment. We've seen Agajan just pumping out the moves. We've seen Beerholtz pumping out the moves. You know more about these guys. Who would your money be on if it was just going to go on pure ability?
On the Agajan against Beerholtz heat, I think... that's pretty
very close, just super
they're both
close.
Technical, but maybe Agajan's better into the chop and the waves for the bigger wave moves. So, yeah, a close one.
To see Beerholtz about to go. Oh, he landed it. We're not sure what it was.
He's safe though.
Oh, that was quick as that. Regular culo. Normal. It is a culo. That's what it is, isn't it? It's a normal stance.
I'm definitely cheering for Beerholtz. Agajan could overtake me in the overall if he has a good result, so we need Beerholtz to win.
Well, he started off pretty good, Nicholas Agajan. Obviously, probably the hardest to spell name in the tour.
Double spot.
But I tell you what, Kiri Toda looks on fire. He looks like he means business. He obviously can win the world title for the first time in his career if he wins this event here in Silt. He doesn't have to have any other results go his way. He just needs to win big. Shaka from Agajan. He's looking good. I hate to say it, Maxwell. He's looking very tidy at the moment. Oh, someone just goes down. Kate Cutter, yeah. Okay, so that's how we're looking at the moment. We've got about 2 minutes 10 left in this heat. Obviously, you can try 6 moves on each tack with the best 3 moves counting. So you can only crash pretty much 50% of your moves. Not easy, I wouldn't have thought. Here we go. At the boat, Kiritoda. What are we going to see? Oh, a slight wet Kiritoda. You don't usually see that.
And that's on his, technically his bad side. But I don't think these guys have bad sides anymore.
No, I'm thinking that as well. So we've got Bear Holtz on the left-hand side of your picture, just going off the screen. Switch stance. Looked like he was about to go for something. He's pulled out. No, he's not. He's going clue first switch stance. Oh, just the old... Well, only the pugnetta. Didn't go for it. I tell you what. He's looking good, Agajan, in this heat. Looking very solid. We got Ollie Scott online. Send a big shout out to the British guys out here. Keeping it, holding on in the cold weather. I don't know. I don't know.
English style weather.
You'd have think, you know, this wouldn't help the guys from Venezuela, from Bonaire, but they seem to be stepping up. We did hear, like, Steve Van Broekhoven might actually like these conditions if he had the choice. I mean, the Estonian guys, it's freaking cold over there, isn't it? They look good in their first heat. Both of them look like they were on it.
They spend so much time in Dahab, I don't know if they know what it's like to sail in Estonia.
Oh, okay. Because they do have ice around the lake, I read something somewhere, which sounded horrific. Yeah. And I saw him in the first hit, I thought maybe they were quite close. Little air flacker from Kiri. Do you think he's counting his moves? No, he's probably done them all by now, hasn't he? He's been ripping through them. 30 seconds to go.
If it was Davey, he probably would have sailed in already, huh?
Shaka.
Whoa, air Shaka.
See, that's how he landed, you know, takes his backhand off. He knew he was going to over-rotate, and that's the only way he was going to land it, was just sort of take that backhand off and just try and wrestle it around with the front hand on, and seems to make it. Okay, we've got 15 seconds left of this heat, and there's no way I'd like to call it. I'd have to say, I think Agajan's looked very solid throughout the heat. As I say that, he goes down. And Bear Holtz, I mean, he's been pretty solid as well. I would hate to judge these heats. I think Kiritoda on the other side of the draw is pretty safely through.
Pretty dominant.
He looked pretty good, yeah, I won't lie. He looked very good in that heat.
The other side is, maybe it's like split, you know, like Bear Holtz looked good on port tack and Agajan looked pretty strong on starboard, but we didn't see everything, so...
Exactly, so it's very hard to tell in this one.
When you need the sheets in front of you, for sure.
Okay, we have results for you.
Okay, we've got results.
Advancing from 11A is H311 Sheffers.
So Sheffers advances over Victor Vedifoot.
F85 Runa.
Oh, it's going to be Runes as well. So Anthony and Sheffers almost go into the form book. But I think he was given a good run for his money by Testa.
Yeah, I was watching that one a bit. I saw Testa do, was it 3 Konans?
Yeah, but the problem is, I couldn't actually tell the other Gastra riders. They're all exactly the same sails. Yeah. And on here, it just looks like an orange blur.
All we could tell was when Sheffers was going switch.
Yeah, that's what everyone says, yeah. Very tricky to work out.
Towards the boat is
not what you want to do, yeah. You've got the side chop and you've got the chop, the sort of underlying swell as well. So that's what the boys have got to deal with out there. Very tricky conditions, but that's how it is. Yes. You're seeing some of the guys just owning out there. Stephen Van Broekhoven didn't seem to bother him.
It really suits those guys doing the air moves, you know, and Stephen is absolutely dialed with those. He loves them. He when he's out in Dahab, he prefers to sail out in the the chop out the back rather than in the flat, you know. But
is that for training, or is that because he enjoys?
No, he just likes going up high in the air, doesn't he?
Well, I think this will suit him then, because the more time you spend in the air and the less time on the choppy water, exactly. Probably more chance you have of landing this stuff. Okay, next up we've got Amado Vrieswijk against Christopher Kauk, is it? And we've got Schmidt against Mottas. And I tell you what, like I said, Kauk looked very good in that first team, Mottas as well. Yeah. So
those guys also like to kind of send it big, you know. They like to just get up in the air, rather than do the sliding moves so much.
They spend a bit of time in Lanzarote. Did I read that he's been there?
Chris Kauk is I think is he living there, or he's moving there? I heard he's moving there after this event. So
we've got time, Henry. 40 seconds, okay, 40 seconds until the green flag. Who's your money on? Amado Vrieswijk probably doesn't sail in these conditions very often, does he?
But
he's very
got
technical.
Moves both ways, you know, big moves both ways. So.
He is one of the up-and-coming talents
Yeah,
that you would
for
sort
sure,
of put your money on being in that top 5 at some point. We'll have to see. Christopher Kalk, obviously a lot to prove. Yeah. I heard he was looking for sponsors at the moment. I don't know. That's the rumour I've heard.
Yeah,
I suppose everyone's looking for sponsors, but...
Look at the lines on that shot there. You can see the lines of the wind.
Yeah, so that's what the guys are dealing with. Big gust coming through. So we should be close to starting one. I think this is green flag. All guys going in. Mottas are on that blue and purple, I think. Neil Pride down the bottom end. Sort of nice, powerful, well, nice first flacker, but didn't get round. Good shaker on that top end. Who is that?
That's Amado in the
Amado.
middle. That's Kalk with
Kalk,
the
yeah.
shaker, and that's Amado. Oh, even bigger, but going down. Kalk.
So has Kalk changed down then? He was on a green sail earlier.
I don't know.
Must have. Oh, big shaker, Mr. Mottas. Very nice. Maybe you guys can try and... This is the live scoring. How would you have this? I mean, there is talk of different ways of live scoring, like this bar where they would move it towards one sailor or the other.
Really?
Big shaker from Amado Vrieswijk. That was big and very clean. I mean, how would you score it? How would you think you do live scoring? That's what you boys are talking about at the moment.
I don't know. I think it's... I quite like the way they do it in the German freestyle battle, but I think it needs a lot of tuning. In the German freestyle battle, they have points for each move. Okay. And then you can add on a point if it's like done with style or like high in the air.
So it's already decided, and then you
and then
bits.
you can add like a small variation. You can add like 0.5 or a point for certain things, and like if it's done really powerful and clean, like you know that Kulo just there from Chris Kalk, maybe it gets a plus one. And then they have levels of the moves, so they have like 1 point for a duck jive and 10 points for I don't know. Triple Basco or whatever.
Yeah.
and I quite like that system. I think it's quite cool. But it needs a lot of work, I think, for the next level, like this top level of moves. It would take a lot of fine tuning.
Just while you're talking there, where is Schmidt? Joop Schmidt. I've not seen him.
Is he?
He's in this. He's against Mottas. I think he's missed his heat.
I thought I saw him fly in up the top. Maybe sticking right up the top.
They're asking on the radio, though, don't you?
Oh, really?
Not seen him. Big forward from Amado Vrieswijk. So what sails is Kalk on there?
Gastra. On a 4-4 maybe?
Okay. Is that that's what he uses, all Gastras?
He does. That's his sail. He uses that just all the time.
Oh, okay.
I think he's got one other sail, hasn't he? 4-8 maybe?
I thought he had a Neil Pride green sail on the first one.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one.
He's after sponsors then for sure.
No, I honestly thought that. I thought he was. It was sort of, I mean...
These guys are good though, huh? They love these conditions. Like, not the cold, but they love the
chop and the messed up wind, just launching it.
Free sailing, they're just sending it.
Okay, well, that's who we've got at the moment. We cannot see Joop Schmidt, so this would be a bit of a disaster for Joop Schmidt. I mean, to fight your way back in the double, as you know, in freestyle, is no easy achievement, is it? No. I mean, it's pretty hard going, and we can't see him out there.
No, they're still asking on the radio, aren't they?
So Tony Mottas down the bottom end. Vrieswijk looking very consistent. I mean, he has to have some serious money on him to be one of the next guns that are going to stay up there. He looks so solid.
In a few years' time, he could be really right up there.
Oof. Kalk just
that's the problem with the chop. You just if you don't time it right and you hit the bit of chop at the very end of the move, it just stops the board, and you're still going, and then you just drop in.
Mottas down that bottom end sailing pretty good, but at the moment he's got no one to go against. Tony Mottas obviously against Joop Schmidt, and we've not seen Joop Schmidt. So Chris Kalk against Amado Vrieswijk from Bonaire, and Vrieswijk is putting together a very solid heat at the moment. He hasn't made pretty much any mistakes.
Only the first shaker he fell in, and then after that he stuck that massive one.
Okay, so Kono down the bottom end.
How are we doing? His
sail sizes, we've got wind. Someone wants the wind reading and the sail sizes. We've got two guys. We've got in here. We've got Adam Sims. We've got Max Rowe. They've just been out there. Amado Vrieswijk killing it out there.
What size were you on?
4-8?
I was using 4-4.
4-4. Okay.
Comfortable as well, like well powered up in the gust.
I was on 4-8, and actually before my heat I was really stacked. I wanted to go on 4-4, but when I was sailing in, it was a bit lighter.
Oh, here he is.
I stayed on 4-8.
Here he is. Better late than never.
There it is.
Well, we've just found Joop Smit,
2
or
minutes.
Joop Smith's just found
2.5
us. I don't know, but he's got 2.5 minutes. Can he do it? He's got to do 3 moves one way and 3 moves the other. He definitely could.
Pretty much, yeah. He's got to do what...
forward? He looks like he wants
yeah,
something. He's got a bit of chop.
That's off-putting when you've got someone coming at you.
Oh, look at the boat! Oh, well, there we go. There's a punch right next to the boat. Couldn't have got much closer. He's probably asking him a question now. How long I got left? Midway through the punch. How long? You got 2 minutes, son. Come on, you can do it. You got to cheer for him now. I don't know why.
Definitely.
You know, you sort of want him to go through.
To come back and do it.
He's got an air flacker and a punch. So he's got an air flacker and a punch. They said he could win this. But he needs to get some moves in on star, but he's got 1:50 to go. Tony Mottas just crashed as well. Amado
What an
Vrieswijk.
upset that would be, huh?
Oh, Joop Smit, half the time,
You'd be feeling quite bitter.
giving himself a bit of a handicap.
Switch Kona there.
Oh, dee. He wanted a bit more than that, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's still a bit of technical difficulty.
Well,
for the switch.
minute 30 to go. One more move on this end, and he's ticked his 3 moves on port tack, and then he needs 3 moves on the way out. Let's keep our eye on Joop Smit, who we just had before, because he is the interesting one in this. Oh, so he just landed a shaka. We just missed it. Plane in shaka. So he's got 3 moves. He just needs 3 moves on the other way. He's got a minute to do it. He's already had like a half kono, a forward. Give it up. Turn round, son. Come on. He probably hasn't got the time, though. Minute left. He's just seen the flag go down. He knows he's got a minute. Let's stay with Joop. This is going to be interesting. So Joop Smit, he's only just joined the competition. He's got all his moves on the one side. Amado Vrieswijk is absolutely burying the moves. Let's stay with Joop. Let's just see what he can do. He's got 44 seconds to get 3 moves. Oh, big kono. He's got 37 seconds to get at least 1 more move. Stay with him, boys. Go right, go right, go right. There we go. Here we go. What's he got? He's got 27 seconds. Oh. So Burner
Switch Kona. Where else did he have that with? Kona.
and Coney had that switch, like half switch, at least the half switch
the
one,
switch
and that's some
Kona,
big moves.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tony Mottas, if he loses this, he's going to be quite upset. But I tell you what,
Good work.
well, I don't know. I wouldn't like to call it. I mean, Mottas had some good moves, but Smit
Yeah.
coming through late with power, I don't know. You
Most
might
of the
have to
moves
give
are
it
pretty
him.
clean as well and dry.
If he gets away with this, oh my life, that is probably the luckiest man in here. I think Joop's sitting in about 5th, 6th, 7th overall for the year, so he didn't really need a bad result here in Silt. He's got a 5, a 7, and his discard, if he gets better than 9 here, will be his 9th place. That's his worst result so far this year. So he needs to get better at 9th this year. There's a couple of other guys are right in the mix for 5th place, and it's going to be super close.
It's tight, isn't it?
Yeah. Davy Sheffers probably can jump up the most. Sitting quite far down at the moment because he's counting a 21st place. If he gets rid of that 21st with a good result here in Silt, he will jump right up the leaderboard. Tonky Franz, pretty much, as long as he does okay here, he's got that 4th place sewn up, but he has to do better than 9th
Can he
here.
make the podium? Can he make the
He
podium?
can't, no. Top 3 are pretty much guaranteed.
F400.
Yeah, so,
Going to double check that result.
okay, we're just going to hear between Berholtz and Agajan. Obviously, we've got results from...
Hold that result for a minute.
Okay.
Tie break on that.
There's a tie break between Berholtz and Agajan. We knew it would be close. Might go to Agajan, we're not sure. Could go to Berholtz, we're waiting to hear. And on the other side of the draw, it's Kiritoda that gets through.
They looked strong on opposite tacks, didn't they? And that can always be hard, can't it?
It's going to be very difficult. But in this heat, we just saw Chris Kalk versus Vrieswijk. From what we saw on the live, Vrieswijk looked solid. Looked solid. I won't say he's won it, but he looked very solid. Chris Kalk had some good moves. And on the other side of it...
Kalk a lot, though. We didn't see him in the whole heat, so...
Okay, and then on the other side of the draw, Tony Mottas had the thing placed to himself, probably for half the heat, thought, easy.
More than half the heat, like 4 minutes.
I think, and then Schmidt came in with about 2 minutes 20 to go and got all his moves in. And they were pretty good moves. There wasn't bad moves. Playing in Shaka, we saw everything, I think. Saw a nice burner.
Yeah, we saw a good diversity on starboard attack coming in, so...
We'll have to wait, hold that result. They're still adding up the tiebreak between Agajan and Berholtz. So let's wait and see what they come up with. Do you know how the tiebreak works? What does it go to? What's the count back?
Technical skill.
Technical skill. Okay, well, not sure. We'll have to wait and see for that result. So if you want to get involved, well, get involved. Leave us a comment. A few people have.
Yeah,
Kiritoda, can he win? Can he win? Can he win? He obviously can win.
He's got it in him.
He looked good. He looked definitely looked good earlier.
And look at his results. He's got better throughout the year as well.
Exactly.
Maybe.
3, 2, 1. Third at the first comp. Second at the next. 2 split decisions. Agajan. So Nicholas Agajan. And this heat has already started. So,
Max is fuming again. Max, tell us.
I'm happy for him.
Okay, well, we started up with this heat already. Who is your money on? Bosson versus Genderush. And Tati and Tonky Franz versus Van Ingen. I tell you what, Van Ingen looked good earlier. Not a new name for me. Obviously, I've not really been doing much of the freestyle stuff.
He's got more and more solid actually throughout the year. Like at the start of the year, he was doing really good, and then in foot, he was looking strong. And then, but you know, Tonky.
Tough.
I was watching him sail in freesailing. He was doing backflip after backflip, just past the boat outside.
Okay, well, here we go. Switch stance, Tonky Franz. Oh, 1 footer. Does that count? Is that? I mean, still upright. Sail stayed up. 1 foot came out quite. Well, it looked pretty good to me. I'd be quite happy with it. Very powerful. Just got so much whip.
Yeah.
His style actually seems to have changed since he's been living in Lanzarote.
Yeah,
looks a lot more higher and more power. I mean, he's always been powerful, but he looks even more powerful if he can.
Doesn't he? It just like goes up and then just floats a bit longer than anyone else.
He does look very solid. Genderush just going down.
Bosson is really on form at the moment.
Yeah.
He is sailing like crazy. And, you know, he's had some solid heats this year as well.
He's been doing well. Is it Bosson who did well at the last competition or Fabrizi? I can't remember which one.
Bosson.
Bosson, yeah.
Really well.
Oh, big. Oh, I thought he was going for the bonker. Is it the bonker?
Yeah.
The bonker. The forward in flacker.
The Tonky move.
Yeah, exactly. He is the inventor of that move, so you would think he would be able to do it. And they've got 2 north-south, so it's difficult to tell the 2 boys apart. Obviously, Bosson and obviously Van Ingen. Shaka, you know the style? Who was that? Bosson?
Maybe Bosson, yeah.
Looks a bit bigger, maybe.
That's the streamer down the bottom.
That's Van Ingen, because he's got a big black square listed.
Okay, so he's that makes sense. So Van Ingen down the bottom end of the course there, and we got Bosson up the left-hand side.
Just landed at, I think, a Shaka. We just missed the start of it.
This is Bosson switch stance. Wants the Scopu. Oh, didn't quite get it. Going to be pretty hard out there, sliding around.
Yeah, if you time it right, there's chop to be had, so you can launch it high. To go for Scopus and stuff, you need to get the height. So if you time it right, then yeah, the moves are possible.
Obviously tricky for the live stream, obviously so far out today. It's a shame we can't get a bit closer.
We should have some more heats with a few more Gastro guys in.
Oh God, that nearly killed me, that heat. I hadn't got a clue what was going on. There is a tiny wave rolling into the beach. I'm saying tiny, it's like knee high. Just seeing Ute Smith coming in, so I wonder what he thinks about that heat. It'd be good to actually get him in here and hear what he's got to say, because if he does get through that heat, that will be... Yeah, that'll be cool. If we can get him, yeah. So we're gonna send Adam out and see if we can grab Ute Smith. We'll wait to see if he goes through first. Actually, we'll grab him anyway. But he has a tough one against Mottas, but maybe Ute Smith came through at the end. We'll see what he has to say, what happened. Did sound like he missed the heat. We've got a freeze on the timer. I'm not quite sure how long we've got left. How long we got left, Henry? Oh, big forward there from, I think, Bosson. 3 minutes, so halfway through the heat. On the left-hand side, those two north sails is Van Engden with the big black sort of square on his sail we're hearing for the Mystic. Gender Rush just going around a flacker. So that is Van Engden, one-handed, look like. Nice. So putting down the moves. We really do need live scoring, I suppose, for this freestyle. When you do put it on the live, you realise how useful it is just to get an idea of how people are standing, because you do not see all the moves. So difficult to get a very good idea of exactly who's in the lead. I'm sure that's what the guys are working on over the winter. That is the plan. These freestyle guys are going to home and tune some sort of live scoring system. It has to be possible. Just going down on that one. And another one down. Maybe getting a bit more choppy out there. This is Gender Rush on the Severn. Here we go. Tonky Franz. Oh, he wanted a double flacker. Didn't quite. He got it, obviously, but it was a very slow rotation. Won't score as well. If you'd have flipped around it a bit quicker, he might have scored a bit more. Ponch wants the future. Slow rotation on the future. I mean, I'm not a freestyler, but I kind of like to see maybe not that extra bit. I would just like to see a nice, powerful Ponch. So we've got Joop Smit making his way in here. Maybe we have a quick word with him. Let's hope he doesn't get electrocuted off this mic. Is there a chance? We're not in the Canaries now, so you should be all right.
Yo, man.
Joop!
How you doing, man?
Well, you made a bit of a late entry there.
Yeah, man, that was unbelievable. That made me crazy.
Who were you against? Estonia 141? Oh.
On the tie break on 2 sheets.
Oh.
Being late for the heat.
Oh, we're just hearing it, so I thought you might have just got it. It was close.
I didn't think I had it because on my way out, I
didn't get enough. You needed one more. We were thinking one more.
I just needed 30 more seconds and then I would have had it, but
it's a shame. So what happened?
Well, the thing is, I thought I was in heat 15 in my head. And it turned out that it was 13, and then when heat 13 was starting, I went to go look. And then everybody's like, man, it's your turn. And I was like, oh my God.
No. Not a horrible situation. I mean, to be honest, what you did in 2 minutes was very impressive.
It was 2 minutes?
Pretty much. 2 minutes 20, I think it was, something like that.
Oh my God.
I mean, you came in, air flacker, come to the boat with a Ponch. I imagine you asked them. Did you ask them the time then, or did they shout? No, you just carried on.
I just kept going and tried to, try to kick some ass after all.
Unlucky. You need, like you say, probably another 20 seconds, another 25 seconds for one more move, and you'd have got it. And you lost on 2 tie breaks, so super close.
I can't believe it, man.
Oh, man.
I can't believe I ruined it.
Unlucky. Hey, it's not over yet. We're definitely getting a double today. You're going to have to come back firing, that's for sure.
There better be a
You've
double.
made it hard for yourself.
Yeah, man. Too much. Oh, God.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. At the moment,
next time I'm on time, for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I take it you're going to get changed, or you're going to stay around in your wetsuit? What's your plan? It's pretty nippy out there, is it?
I have no idea, honestly. I think I'm going to,
you're going to have a long time. Get warmed up. Get yourself in the mode for the double. Come back strong.
Oh, man. Oh, well. Better luck next time.
I was going to say. So, pretty unlucky there for Joop Smit. Like I say, just missed his heat. Came through sort of towards the end of the heat with 2 minutes 20 to go. Did his best. Hit the moves on the way in on port tack, but just couldn't find that third and final move on starboard. Sort of had a half cone, I think was your third and final move that you would have counted on that tack. But so close. Gutted he hears about it just as he got in the live stream. I thought it was going to be close. I thought you might have just snook it, but obviously Tony Mottas had 6 minutes, which is double the time. So we've got timing left. A minute 40 left of this heat. So a minute 40, obviously we've got... we finished this heat. Yeah, sorry, minute 42 will start this heat. We've actually finished, obviously, the Tonky Franz heat. And the next one we're going to have up is Van der Eycken versus Max Matasek, and Phil Saltyshak versus Brian Metcalf Perez. Perez actually had a close heat with Vestra in that first round, so he sort of just snuck his way through, but no doubt Saltyshak from Canada will be used to these cold conditions. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. He's got He loves a bit of chop. He trains a lot with Stephen, and they both go out in the waves and the chop all the time. So I think Phil likes these conditions definitely, and I mean he likes all conditions. He's one of those guys that just does everything in everything.
Yeah. That's the thing, super consistent, very good competition
Both
sailor.
ways, yeah.
So we've got Brian Metcalf Perez, obviously on the Neil Pride. He was on a sort of pink and sort of purple Neil Pride earlier. We've got Phil Solchak on the Sailworks green usually. I haven't seen his ones this year. Sort of green sail. We've got Max Matasek, he's going to be on the North. And we have Van der Eycken, Dieter, is going to be on the Severn. So orange Severn for him. So we should be starting 20 seconds to go.
Max put that orange sticker on his Norths, which is quite an interesting move. I think it's a good decision.
Did you do that just to show us?
Yeah, I think so that he can stand out in heats.
Well, sounds good because it helps us here, that's for sure. Especially when all those Norths stuck together.
It looks windy.
Here we go. So this is Van der Eycken on the right-hand side of your picture. Shaka at the top end from... well, there's a really nice culo from Salty Shack, I think. Yeah, so that was Phil, Salty Shack. Cheers, you. Yeah, sorry, man, but unlucky. Better luck in the double.
When I'm here, I won't need to.
Okay, we'll probably swap it. Just swap it for another one. We'll swap the chair over, but these boys look like they started that heat pretty good. Phil Salty Shack started with a nice culo. We saw also Brian Metcalf Perez with a Shaka. Oh, and someone going down. That's Max Matasek right in front of the boat going down. Oh, that was unfortunate for Yoop there. I thought he might have just snuck it. We knew it was going to be close.
He didn't want to come up until he saw heard the result. But I said, come on, it'll be interesting either way to chat.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. It's good that we see that. But like I said, really bad news for him. He won't be happy with that. He was sitting in a very good position overall. Just shows you've got to be on it. So, Dieter?
Yeah, but he'll do some damage now in the double for sure. I wouldn't want to be near him.
I was about to say, do you want me to work out who he gets? I tell you what, I can work out who he gets. You might even get by looking at that quickly down there, but I'll work it out in a minute. So these boys obviously going to turn on the style. Phil Salty Shack wants the screw. Yeah. He got the SCO, he didn't get the poo. Got a bit of it.
He's been working on those a lot in Vienna also. I see him there sometimes, and he's landing them both ways and doing bonkers off flat water.
Okay.
Under the bridge.
So he's been training quite a lot, Phil Salty Shack.
Yeah.
How old's Phil now then?
I think he's the same age as me, around 25.
Okay.
And he's really unfortunate for him. He dislocated his shoulder in training just after the competition in Browsham.
Okay.
And after about 2 weeks, he can normally come back and compete fine and sail. But he's going to have he's done it enough this year, he's going to have to have surgery. So it's a kind of, if you have to have it, it's a good time of the year to do it.
Yeah,
because the competitions are over and you can get it done and be back to compete for the first competition next year. He just won't have the training he wish he'd had, over the whole winter in Brazil and Cape Town, but he'll come back strong.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I say, sometimes it is better to get it out of the way, get the operation, get it finished. Big forward from Metcalf Perez there. So it is Tony Mottas, and it was Vriesrik qualifying through the next round. You've probably already read that already, but so Amado Vriesrik following on his run, and it'll be a good result for Tony Mottas. He'd be happy to get into that round.
Absolutely. Now he's got to face Amado.
Yeah, well, you never know. You never know this freestyle. It is only 7 minutes, is it? Yeah, 7 minutes. So not a lot of time. I imagine it goes pretty quick out there.
No. Oh, bonker. We're going to see it.
Wanted it, didn't he? He wanted the bunker, old Mr. Salty Shack there. Flacker from Phil.
Lacona from English.
Dieter's looking good as well today. Look, I mean, he looks good most days, but he looks very consistent. And that's what's going to get you through the heats. Brian just going down on that rig flip. This is Max Matasek with a big orange sticker on his sail. He looks very overpowered. That looks like a big gust. He looks like he's on a big sail. Oh, almost like a stalled Superman forward. I think his feet came out the straps. Didn't get that downwind power. So all the power was still in his sail and couldn't quite get rid of it. Here we go. Ponce, I think, from Brian. Boys are in the water. This is Brian.
He pulled out of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he's got the Kona. A bit of a wet one.
Not the best one, but still, not too bad.
Whoa, huge pass go from Jendrush.
I wasn't actually looking. I looked down at my screen. Can we have a replay of that, Henry?
That was
No, we can't.
super fast. It was just almost the whole thing in the air.
Okay, so that
Just
obviously
a bit wet at the end.
scores pretty good.
Yeah.
He's obviously
I think we're going to see more of that later. In the final heats, we're going to see some pretty epic ones. There's some good ramps out there for it. Before my heat, I was enjoying the ramps a bit.
so Gendrous is against
And was it
not Gendrous.
Jendrush?
No, it's not. It's
Is it
Dieter.
Oh, is it?
Sorry, I'll put the other drawer up. That's the one that's sort of half filled in.
Okay.
But I imagine it's
Jendrush in the last one.
Yeah, I was going to say, God, he's done well there.
Dieter did a sick pass.
So he's having a good heat. So it looks to be he's on top on that top heat. He's against Max Matasek, and he's on the left of your picture now with the orange.
Actually, so.
Exactly. Here he goes towards the boat. Oh, we just missed him. He's just right next to the boat at the moment. Max Matasek. So not seeing he's sort of staying away from the other three competitors. Which on the live stream it sort of works. I mean, it doesn't work on the live stream, but it might work in
for
the
I was
judges.
getting a bit tied up a couple of times in my heat, and it's just it puts you off a little bit. You know, if you've got enough wake and chop as it is, the wake of someone else's board is just a little.
Brian
bit
Ponch, not the height he wanted, but he makes it round. Just kind of got a little bit of the dodgy takeoff.
Max Sail looks fully windy there, doesn't it?
He looks powered up. He looks like he's got plenty of power. It doesn't like he needs any more.
So what we got? I feel trying to get a switch there, but just losing it because the wind dropped by the looks of it. Max with a Spock. I tell you what, these slidey moves in these conditions are not that easy. And that's what I was thinking about. If there was a live scoring, then it would have to be adjusted conditions, I think.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the hard thing. I mean, live scoring is always going to be, well, it's going to be difficult. Freestyle is probably one of the hardest disciplines to judge, I would say, because it's very subjective, you know.
But, most of the riders are calling for it, you know. They would like to see it tried.
Yeah.
And I think they were trialling it a little bit behind the scenes in Browsdown, from what I heard. Just trying different methods with, you know, like a tablet.
Okay.
And I didn't hear much more, but you know, it's cool to see that they're trialling it, and it's cool that the PWA are pushing forwards. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to move that way. I mean, it's the only way it gets good for live streaming when you can see who's winning, and if that move makes that, and you can really get an idea of how it's standing coming into the last minute. Otherwise, it's very difficult. He is absolutely busting out the moves at the moment. Dieter van der Eycken.
Almost getting that one.
Is this going to be his competition?
To see, like, that's a perfect example. To do a spot culo in conditions like that is super hard.
Yeah.
It's just crazy hard. To just duck the sail and go for a Kono is a lot safer, as it were.
So the judges need to know all this information,
yeah,
obviously.
Of course, and some of the judges, you know, their experience with some of the later freestylers, so they can tell the others and let them know. And
are we likely to see more freestylers on the judging panel?
yeah, it's a possibility.
Is that what we sort of get into?
There's a few guys, you know, who are having a go at it once in a while, and you know, I'd be interested to give it a go at some point.
Okay, we've got results coming through.
2-1 decision.
2-1 decision we're hearing. H120. So that's a big upset, isn't it?
Yeah, beating Bossard.
The guys on the board, the food is
Not a big upset. I don't want to say a big upset.
I'm
but
surprised actually. I think Bossard was sailing really good in the last two competitions.
And it is Tonky Franz who gets the nod over Van England. So Jendrush, a solid result for him.
I'd say I'm surprised. Also, at the same time, Jendrush is also sailing very
I
good.
think at the same time, this is kind of similar to my heats, I think, in the waves. These are the middle heats. So Max Rowe versus Julian Mass, Agajan versus Bearholtz, Bosson versus Jendrush. These are all very closely matched in the overall, aren't they?
We're hearing a lot of 2-1 decisions.
Yeah, so they're all going to be close heats, and it is that sort of middle ground from, say, 14th, 15th to like 18th or something like that, 19th. These guys go against each other, and it is closely matched affair. So
and they're against each other a lot, you know. They're always meeting each other, and they know what each other can do. You know?
Okay.
So for some people, it's maybe more tactics. Like Dieter, I think thinks a lot about the tactics of what the other person can do, whereas others like Max Matisek, he just goes out and does his heat and is really focused, and you know, is actually becoming really good in competition. He's really safe with his moves, and
we're hearing they're going to do 7 moves, it sounds like, and the best 4 counting.
Yeah, they like to do that in the last 16, you know, pick it up a bit.
So that's from the next round.
It's easier for the judges then because there's more moves to choose from. And did they already try 5 of 8 or 5 of 9 or
when?
something? At the last event?
Maybe. I actually didn't follow it because we didn't have
they
live
did 5
stream.
of 9 in the final heats, like the semi-finals and the finals. And that was because in Fuerte there was those really close decisions.
Too close.
Yeah, it was too close, really.
And but it makes sense as you get towards right at the end where you've got the
Yeah.
finals. These guys should be able to step it up. They can
easily
do
do
that.
those
So
moves,
then
yeah.
it's easier for the judges, and it makes it's less controversial, I suppose, because there will
Kiri
be
used to do 30-something moves in a heat, didn't he? So
on his first run, probably. So in the next heat, we've got Propintinsky against Chambers. And we've got Estrado versus De Vint. And De Vint was selling pretty good in that first one. Obviously, a couple of the Curacao guys getting through. Victor Vediford was his first event on tour this year.
I was speaking to Fabrizi earlier, and he was just laughing and kind of almost upset at the same time because he said he crashed 7 ducks or something, and the conditions were so hard, and the wind was changing so much. I think those earlier heats were a little bit more gusty. I mean,
no, they were tricky for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're up and running. Boom, that was nice. What was Golito?
And who was?
I'm guessing it's Golito. We got Chambers and Chambers on the pink one, and I think Igor's on the green and blue one. Oh, just going down. His Chambers wants to punch. That was a nice punch from Chambers.
Yeah. And I think Rafa did also one on Portac.
So punches galore. So obviously there is a little bit of swell out there. You can see the water is moving around quite a bit.
Yeah.
We saw this with the slalom boys yesterday. A couple of them actually catapulting because there is that sort of running swell. Oh, that was big cooler. You can tell Guito's out there actually. Yeah. I think, ooh, and I think, it is Guito.
He gets another foot on everyone, doesn't he?
Yeah. So it is Propintinsky against Chambers. So the 2 Pride boys against each other. And then Estrado versus the young guy from Curacao. So Rafa De Vind, you seen much of him? You were just going off the picture there, would you?
No, we saw a punch earlier.
Looks like he landed. Was that a burner?
I don't know.
Burner?
He's come out regularly, so it must have been switched.
Funnel?
Perhaps a funnel.
Something? Yeah.
I'd say a funnel. Let's call it a funnel.
We'll go funnel. Definitely a funnel, boys.
Anybody else see it?
Yeah.
We'll write it down and tell us.
Okay, so we've got Golito Estrado in the middle of your screen. This is Igor Propintinsky.
With a kilo.
Kulo?
Nice. Mixing it up.
What do you think of the Yard and Mears heat? Did you see much of that? You said a very powerful heat.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, what, the 3 moves on the
first
first run.
First run,
Yeah.
right next to the boat, looked just insane. Really good way to start
a heat, isn't it?
Very powerful, very big. He's obviously in the next round. He's going to go against Tati Franz.
That should be interesting.
I think that's him just getting ready for his heat.
Yeah.
We just got Bubble with a little shacker there on starboard. I think he can do them both ways.
Yeah, he can. That's one of Bubble's biggest sort of threats is that he can do, you know, a lot of moves both ways and in like different conditions, like those moves that we see today, like the shackers, the air flackers, forwards. You know, it's really good for him. And actually, he's also training a lot of like the switch stuff and the new school stuff both ways. So yeah, he's a good threat to.
He's getting on a bit now, though. He's the oldest guy in the freestyle fleet.
Is he?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Who is?
No, I think isn't one of the Franz brothers older?
I don't know. I was just wondering. Is anyone over 30?
I think Bubble's around 30.
He's nearly 30 already.
Look at you. Sitting next to me there.
Good, he's catching me up. So this is Bubble on the pink and blue sail forward. Not his best forward. I've seen better, I think.
Yeah.
Nice move from Rafa there as well.
Shaka, yeah. Safe right by the boat. Interesting, actually. A couple of the guys are doing moves really close to the boat, and the boat's actually just outside the heat area. And I guess they're kind of Guito coming down from a huge shaka. But I guess they're kind of judging, you know, up to the boat a bit, you know, because it's kind of in the area still, and they're not too bothered if you're pushing the boundary towards the boat. So that's one of the things. The boundaries is it can change a bit at each event. You know, sometimes if the conditions are not so great, they might be a little bit lenient if you perhaps start the move or you're doing the move kind of just on the edge of the boundary or even maybe just over it. And then other events where you can clearly see where the boundaries are.
I mean, as far as I know, the boundaries are there just as a guide. you know, and if you're outside them and you do it and they don't see you, it's not their fault. Oh,
yeah. At the same time, it's at some events they're quite strict on it. They have a boat on the boundary sometimes. Like,
right.
Yeah, and radioing and saying no, it was out. And in Fuerte often they have it on the outside. They have a boat there when the riders are saying, look, this guy did moves outside and he's getting through and I'm staying inside the area. So it's it changes a bit, you know.
What's your feeling on it?
I would like them to keep it strict.
Yeah. And then you know where you stand.
Yeah, I always aim to do my moves inside the area, and perhaps maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe I should push it a bit, and because I run out of space sometimes. Like earlier, it was a classic example. There was a hole of the wind in the middle, and then you get the power on the edge. But by the time you're moving really good with power, and you find a space to do a move, by that time you're where I think is out the area, and then I'm like, okay, I shouldn't do it. Yeah. But I'm starting to think maybe I should push it.
A little scopy there from Rafa. Had to really mince around the last bit, but I suppose it still counts. Yeah. All bubble that didn't look like an easy flip, did it? It looked very choppy.
And going down, that's not good. They count that as a crash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you duck the sail and you fall in, it's counted as a crash.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a back loop. Rafa on the way in.
It's part of the risk, I think. You know, it ups the risk factor of going for ducking moves. So even if you duck it and the sail catches the water and then just sticks there, and then you kind of just like you're still standing on your board and uphaul it, then they count it as a crash.
All right. Yeah. Tricky. I didn't know that. So, well, that's how we're looking at the moment. We've got about 1:30 to go. We've got Bubble going switch stance on the way out. We've got Golito Australia just spin around half a move there.
Bubble. Learning things from Max, isn't he?
God, yeah, exactly. He's picking up a few. You just got to do things that put the scores on the doors.
Yeah,
at the moment, it didn't look like Eagles crashed a few things.
That's true. Yeah.
He'll have an eye on that. Will you have an eye on that when you're competing in freestyle? Do you have an idea what everyone else is doing?
You do a little bit. I mean, again, it's different for some competitors. Some competitors just focus on their heat. Again, Max Matisek is a good example. He's just, this is my heat, I'm going to do my moves.
Yeah.
And then others will look around again, like Dieter. You know, he looks around and checks out the competition.
You've got to be very good and very consistent to do that.
Big boost on that kind of. Yeah, I think you've got to. Yeah. Of course you have. You've got to, like, if you're keeping an eye on someone and then you see them do that move and then you want to up it, then you've got to know that you can do the move every time. So.
Yeah, I used to say that in wave sailing. If you like Costa, you can just follow people and they do something and you just up it every time and then you're guaranteed to beat them.
You've got this,
but you've got to have the
skills.
Got
this guy hanging behind you if you're in a heat with Costa. You must know about that, surely.
Yeah, I do know about that.
1 or 2 heats against him.
Does it all the time to me. Oh, shove it spog, I think, from Golito. Just goes down.
That's another move that is really technical in these conditions.
Bubble, he's got 10 seconds to get plane and get a move. It's not going to happen.
That's not going to.
Does that count as a crash? He crashed on attack.
No, it doesn't. It's just attack, isn't it?
Oh, and Igor slipped round something. I would have said, watching the 2 heats, I thought Bubble had a better heat out of Igor and,
I think
Bubble,
so.
But he's going to be close. Okay, we don't see everything. And on the other side, obviously, Golito looked very strong. Rafa had some good moves, but I think consistency-wise, we'd have to say. Is there Knut? Am I saying your name right? Is it Knut? Is it Nut? Is it Knut? Nut on Twitter. Is there a table showing possible points by a move for the German freestyle battle? They used this.
There is. I did a feature on Board Seeker.
Okay.
Oh, he's put one up there, is he?
It sounds like it. I don't know. We're gonna have a look now.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go. And there's one on Board Seeker in English as well. And I put a feature up about that recently. It was really interesting. It was interesting speaking to a lot of the guys about it.
Salty Sack,
making his way through.
Has got through. So that shoulder doesn't seem to be stopping him at the moment. And then but he's against Van Eyck in the next round, which would be a pretty tough.
That's a mighty battle, I think.
Yeah.
Without saying it, I think they like to. You know, when they compete against each other, they both really want it even more.
Really?
Yeah.
Are those two?
No, they're friends, of course they are. But I think there's others as well, you know, where they just sail against each other and they really want it even more.
Well, we've got
because they meet a lot. They meet often. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know that feeling when you meet the same people a lot. Well, at the top of the draw now, we've got Yarden Meer against Tati Franz, and we've got Max Rowe against Ban Brockhoven. Tough draw for Max. And Yarden Mir, what do you fancy his chances against Taddy France? Taddy's been doing the slalom, maybe a bit tired. I don't know. I'm trying to give him some hope here, but if he does anything like he did in the last heat,
I mean,
he could.
Yardy exploded at the start, didn't he?
Yeah, he just looked.
And the big moves, the
full
air
of
moves.
power.
But Tatty's also there, isn't he? He has this style on an air flacker. It's different to everyone else. He does it really across the wind, really fast, almost finishes the move on the way up, and then just like lands it completely clean.
Yeah.
And other moves like that, you know. He's also got the big moves. So, yeah, I think it's a close one. I think maybe Yardy, if he does it like the last heat, he could definitely.
He's going to have to
put
come
Tatty
out
under
all
pressure.
guns blazing,
Yeah.
that's for sure. How long have you got to the green flag? 30 seconds till the green flag.
Lining up the top of the heat.
Look at the stats. Yarden on the orange sail.
It looks like Yardy's going to choose to start the same way as before.
Yeah, and
On
we've
the
got,
port
who
tack.
else have we got? Yarden on that. We've got Tatty Franz on the Maui sails.
Max
We've got
on
Max
North.
Rowe on the white North. And we've
Steve
got
on the
Van
Pride.
Broekhoven on that green and blue, I imagine, Pride. But there's a Pride behind the boat with orange and pink. So we'll have to wait and see who's
Maybe
who.
that's
but,
someone hanging around
how
from the
long we
previous
got?
heat.
We should be 2-1. Yarden Meer's going to start full power again. Here he goes. He's looking for a little bit of a bump in the ocean. He's not going to get it, is he? He's got a bit of a lull almost coming
but
to the
he's going for
boat.
it. Bit of an air flacker.
Air
Just
flacker,
caught the chop
just
and
caught
stopped
the chop
at the
and
start.
stop. Yeah, this is Tatty France coming across. Van Broekhoven, Burner. Tatty France, switch stance. Cigar. Oh, maybe wanted the burner, but
see, look how tricky it is.
You know, when you see Tatty France do that, you know it's not easy out there. Max, we didn't see anything from Max. Big shaka from Van Broekhoven. Nice. We've got Yarden Meer coming on the inside, just on switch stance, just off your picture. Max, got that shaka wrong. Yarden Meer goes down.
Wrong with the ramp there, I think. Just mistiming it.
Definitely not
Yardy
easy.
going
That's
down
for sure.
as well. So Tatty and Yardy opening the heat with sort of. Well, Yardy had what did he have? Punch. Was it?
There's a few. I'm trying to think. He just flares into one.
No, it was
doesn't
air flacker,
It's
wasn't it? It was an air flacker, and he just caught the rail.
Yeah, air flacker.
And Stephen going down.
So who is down the bottom end there?
We've got Max about to go for a move. Get that shaka. There we go.
Oh, I tell you what, I thought he'd messed that up, but that was perfect in the end, and right
nice
next to the boat.
Nice punch by Tatty. So Yardy coming in. It looks a bit lighter, huh? It looks like it's just dropped a bit.
There's a few big lulls out there. Yarden Meer. Oh, he came off with some speed there.
After an air flacker, I think he definitely wanted a Pasco, and that's when it's underpowered. It's a tricky move to do.
Steve Van Broekhoven's got that sort of Tonky Franz sort of thing.
I love that
spin
finish.
round.
I love it so much when you lay it low at the end and just kind of style it around, you know. That's cool.
So Tatty down the bottom end, working the bottom end of the course area, I suppose.
That's maybe a safe move actually, because there was more wind further out. You know, like you'd expect in offshore winds. There's more wind further out.
It sort of cleans up a bit, maybe.
Yeah. The gusts come together a bit, but you know,
This is Max Rowe.
It's further out, so the chop's bigger.
He's found the chop. Tatty Franz a little forward on the outside. Yarden Meer, very nice culo.
The judges like that. They like it when you flip the rig, like either at the very end of the move, like in the air, or as you're landing, and flip it, because it just looks more powerful.
Yeah.
I heard that from a few of the judges when they do a culo or a burner, and they like to see the rig just flip really quick.
You almost have to stop your body going forward, so you have to let go.
Rather than holding on to it, clue first.
So Yarden Meer still in this. 4 minutes,
with a shaka.
25 to go in this heat.
And Stephen, I think Stephen maybe did a forward. Or a Kono, perhaps.
Very tricky. Big shaka. Yarden Meer full planing and then straight into attack.
Getting the nose down.
That was nice. That was like coming down like a back loop. So Yarden Meer
his style.
stepping it up for Israel.
That's completely a style of shakas. He gets the nose fully down, and then that's how you can get it around for an air shaka.
Yeah.
He does some incredible
You just don't want to miss that nose.
Whoa.
You miss the nose and it's all
Yeah.
death from there.
Yeah.
It's not good.
So a couple moves there as Max air flacker, I think it was.
So obviously it's Max against Stephen Van Broekhoven and Yarden Meer against Tatty Franz. And I would say on the Yarden Meer Tatty side, Yarden has a chance here.
Yeah, for sure. And Tatty lands. No, not quite a back loop.
He's wrestling around a back loop.
About to say, and there we go.
I'm not sure that will score as high. That wrestle needs to be quite clean, I think, for a back loop to score.
Yeah, I wonder. Actually, I don't know how they judge the moves like that. If you land quite wet, like you did there, I don't know if they judge it as a crash or not.
pretty wet. I mean, that's like swimming round. Most people will be able to do that. Not taking away from Tati, I mean, but I know he can land a pretty clean one even in this conditions. There's a nice Kono.
And that's another move, you know, they like to see the flip. You know, as you're coming down, flipping the rig and doing landing the Kono sort of clean like that and flipping it. Okay. You come out clue first, and it's it's not so powerful. Looking.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. I mean, it does look it to me just from watching here. I like to see it when they come round just super power. It does. You want to give them some extra points for it.
It looks really cool, especially the Konos where you go up and then you flip the rig on the way down. And there's some guys doing it amazingly.
I mean, the difference between a wet one and a good one is huge.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It just makes so much difference.
Max.
Oh,
Kulo.
Tati, how did he?
Was that?
Oh, was that
Max? Yeah, it was Max.
You're right.
How did he do that?
It's
more like
again,
a toe.
Whoever it was, how did they do it?
Yeah.
I thought he hadn't got. Oh,
Yardi going for a Chachu or something. Switch Chachu.
I take it his favourite's tack's on port tack.
Yardi.
He looks more powerful on that tack. Or maybe it's a bit more.
His home spot in Israel is quite similar. I think quite similar to the conditions here in terms of the chop. But he doesn't like the cold so much. His comment he said to me, he said, "Yeah, I've won with the rig today. It's great."
Okay, so we're just hearing the scores coming through from heat number 16A, and it is Andy Bubble Chambers that advances over Igor Propentinsky.
He'll be happy with that.
And on the other side of the draw, Estrado advances over De Wint, but we're hearing his scores in that heat were nowhere near matching Kiri's or Stephen Van Broekhoven's. So
interesting.
That is interesting.
Like,
it's still early days.
When he comes
he
closer,
just does enough. I mean, to get through. You do enough to get through, and everything. We've got Benjamin on Twitter saying, how many knots have we got, Ben? I don't know, but the guys are on pretty much 4.5s.
Yeah, it's gusty. It's between 4.4 or 4.8 around that size.
25 knots?
Yeah, I think 20 to 25.
25 knots?
Yeah, the gusts are really strong sometimes, perhaps, you know, peaking 27 maybe.
Okay.
Some of the really big gusts. There was a heat earlier, wasn't there, where it was just going off. And
yeah. No, look, there's been a definite few heats where just firing. It does look like it's dropped a bit, or it's got more gusty.
Yeah, look, there's a big hole in the middle again.
You can see Yarden just stuck in that, but he's got less than a minute.
So frustrating.
Step it up. Oh,
Pasco.
From Stephen Van Broekhoven. So there is those little lumps coming through, which is going to make it interesting, especially as we get towards the sort of latter end of this draw.
Max sailing in, he would have seen that.
Like, oh dear. Tati Franz somehow making that. I'm not sure how. That was a burner.
Maybe down a bit of like a small bit of swell, you know, getting the speed.
The height from the swell.
Just holding the planing.
Oh, there's another big shaka from Yarden, but he's had a very nice one already. I think he needs something else, and it needs to be on this tack, on the starboard tack.
So Happy Chappy coming in, Bubble on the bottom left.
He'll be happy to get through that heat. It makes a big difference.
Tati Kulo. So he's done a burner on coming towards us and a Kulo going towards the boat. So
I'll tell you what, he's been good in this heat, but he's not been as high as some of the guys we've seen. But he's been making his moves.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Ticking all the boxes.
It's showing how tricky it is out there. I think because you know some of the guys, you know, the good guys are still not busting out the moves like they normally do, but they're kind of busting them out just to get the move. You know, almost like a safe move rather than huge, other than a huge pass.
And that's what you've got to do. You've got to get through the rounds. There's no doubt about it. This isn't free sailing. This isn't playing up for the camera. This is ticking boxes. Absolutely, it's a competition, and it is a different style of sailing. The further we get towards the end of this competition,
something I think I need to tune into.
Yeah, but I mean that's how it is in competition. You'll see. I mean, I bet you if I said to you, name some competition sailers, you could do that. Yeah. There are guys that in free sailing are good, and you think but in competition they just go like a robot.
And you can also see the guys that have been training and have got a different mindset and changed it a bit. And I know I get back to Max again, but Max Matisek has really changed it lately, and he's really like got his competition kind of style.
He's got a routine.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah. And he's good.
I'd say Bubble's a bit like that as well.
Yeah, Bubble is
very good at competition sailing.
Yeah, always like that.
Well,
but Bubble's also absolutely sending it in free sailing sometimes as well. So.
That's good to see.
And then, vice versa, you can see people that are free sailors as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we have that in the waves, and like everyone has. Okay, so we've just had Mia versus Tati Franz. We've had Rowe versus Van Broekhoven. We'll await for those results. Next heat on the water is going to be Davy Sheffers versus Anthony Rooms, and Agajan versus Kiri Toda.
Yeah, just hearing some results.
K540 and V10, I think you've got that already.
Yeah. So just hearing some results from the previous one we heard already, Bubble advancing and Guito Strado. So
Yeah, pretty.
just on the next ones.
Okay, it's pretty solid at the
What do
moment.
you think? Who do you think made it through on the last one?
You'd have to say Tati Frans and Van Broekhoven. I don't
Yeah.
see.
I
I mean,
mean-
Mia could. We didn't see everything from him. On Port Tag, I thought he looked very strong, but I think Tati Frans was very technical.
Yeah.
So in terms of ticking boxes, I think he ticked
And
a lot more technical
yeah,
boxes.
also doing sort of those ducking moves both sides, and I think Yardi, when you see someone going for the same move again, even when they've done it really sick the
Yeah.
first time, then it's maybe they're feeling a bit shaky in the heat,
Yeah.
and
Just
or
wanna stomp some.
or
they're happy with what they've
absolutely, slaughtered the heat, and
got. Yeah.
they want to make it even bigger, So
I would like to see, I have to say, maybe I'm boring, but I would like to see some new guys at the front.
Yeah,
I would like to see some big upsets.
Yeah.
And who do you think can cause these big upsets? Davy Sheffers, can he cause an upset? Runes, can he
yeah,
cause an
that
upset?
would be
you
a
know?
close one.
But who's going to break into this,
This
holy trinity sort of three at the front? It's like,
yeah, like really the top.
Van Broekhoven,
Top four.
Golito, Kiri, Tonki. Who's going to get in there? Who's going to mix that up?
In
Who
the
is
next
gonna
few
be the
years, I
first
think
guy?
earlier you were right in saying Amado Vrieswijk could, in the next couple of years, I think.
You don't think this year? You don't think this event? Oh, how's that for a start?
Whoa.
That was just going off. We got 3 Gastra riders in this, and I
This is
have
our
no
favourite,
clue
isn't it?
of who did what. We can have a guess.
Someone
we can
did a
try and
great
spot
move.
some. That's
Another
Kiri,
great
I think,
move.
with Shaka, because he's got a green
Shaka,
board.
Flacker. And Ponch, Davy, perhaps?
Could be Davy.
I think it's Davy, yeah.
I can see Agajan. He's on the black sail.
Yeah.
That's going to be easy to spot. Davy Sheff's red at the top. Would that be right? I'm thinking it might be. Yes, Davy
we've got
Sheff's
Kiri.
red
I
at
think-
top. I think it is.
Just landed a burner, I think that was. We just missed it, but it was,
Okay,
it
so
was in
this
switch
is
and he
Anthony
came out.
Rooms on the left-hand side of your picture. Oh my
That is
life!
Davy, I think.
What was that? That was
No
like
way.
a
Whoa, big Shaka.
nice, powerful Shaka as well.
Davy just
from
getting,
Agajan.
I think the timing wrong on a forward can happen. The swell can
That's
disappear.
Kiri, is it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. And that must be Anthony.
Okay, what we got there? I'm not sure how
Anthony
we're
with a
going to
funnel,
stay there.
one-handed funnel, I think it was. I hope we're calling the right people.
What's the biggest move in this? We got sent the thing before, and I was just